Hi gang, Rob here. It's the morning of November 2015, and I've got a follow-up review for you all this morning on a knife that I reviewed fairly negatively when it first came out. And many of you who probably had spent your hard-earned money on this knife, and frankly some of you who had different results than I did, got your panties in a wad just a little bit about some of the things I didn't like about it. And I've had a couple more of these knives in for sharpening over the past few weeks, and I thought I would give you kind of an update on what I'm seeing in this Benchmade 761. It is a beautiful knife, a stunning knife. It is nice and thin, beautifully sculpted. A gorgeous drop point blade with a beautiful swedge, a beautiful finish. It is ground precisely and thinly out of Bowler M390 steel. It has a proper plunge grind and sharpening notch that needs no modification to sharpen this knife properly. The M390 takes a ferocious edge and a good polish, and it gets really sharp. That's the good stuff. If you'll remember from my initial review, there were some things I didn't like about the knife. Lock bar tension on the model that I first had in was abysmally weak. This one is much better. The detent on the first knife that I looked at was beyond abysmally weak. It would just fall out of the handle. This knife, that is fixed. It's really quite perfect in that regard. The knife flicks open amazingly well. Just well done. What else didn't I like? Oh yes. Tip down, right hand only. Yeah, I didn't like that. Still don't, and I'm going to get into some reasons why I like it even less now than I did then. So I also was not fond of the lockup. I think this device in the back of the knife and the spine of the knife, the adjustable stop pin, you can see that hexagonal pin with the little dimple in it that can be rotated, exposing those points at different radiuses from the center of the pin to lock up the blade, where you want it to. And that works in conjunction with this very, very narrow lock face that is stepped. I don't know why you would ever do that. So it gives the effective length or length of engagement of the lock a very short dimension. In order for it to work right, you about have to adjust the pin, but it just doesn't work. When I got this knife, the owner was a little upset because the step was bottomed against the side of the tang and the knife had vertical play. I attempted to help make this better for him. I was going to take the knife down after sharpening, as I always do, take a close look at that pin, see how to rotate it properly. And one thing you have to do to take a titanium frame lock apart is take the pivot apart. The adjustment / disassembly or male screw for the pivot is, you guessed it, under the pocket clip. Brilliant! So it's a simple matter, just 2 T6 Torx screws to get rid of that pocket clip, and we're home free. Well, this one on the right has a stripped head from the factory. I have Weha Torx drivers, and my T6 spins in the head. I could have maybe pounded it in there a little farther and tried to get it out, extract it, but I'm not going to do that. Not on a knife this expensive. It just needs to go back to Benchmade. I was able to loosen this T6 screw, and then with the blade out of the way, grab a hold of that stop pin with a pair of needle nose pliers and move it until I got a lock adjustment without bottoming out on the step. So I got it to about 80% of the width of the lock face and tightened everything down. It looked great. And then I developed horrendous lock stick, which is very typical of this adjustable lockup on the Benchmades. The 755 MPR has the same system without the stupid stepped lock bar. So, I'm trying everything. Can't get a Sharpie in there. There's no room to get it in there. I got a mechanical pencil. I'm putting lead on it, wiping stuff off. Still got lock stick. Well, you notice right now it doesn't have lock stick. Not at all. None. But listen. Yeah, our vertical play is back. Apparently, the only radial restraint for where those points rotate to on that unbelievably horrible engineering feat, that adjustable stop pin, the only thing that keeps it in place is the friction against the frame created by tightening down this screw. And because it's the point of one of those facets against a flat blade tang, which is going to cause something to wear over time. You can see the line that's wearing in the blade tang now. Basically, I guess unless you got it exactly perfectly perpendicular, so that force was going directly through that point to the center of that pin, where it doesn't want to rotate, maybe then it would be fine. But what this one's done is it's just rotated that stop pin back to where it wants to be. This knife is an absolute abortion. Why didn't we just take a Bradley alias and restyle it? I think this knife sort of replaced the alias in Benchmade's lineup. And in many, many ways, it just makes you want to love it. But it's just bad. I mean, you can't get to the pivot because of a bad carry system. What appears to be, a locking system that gives you lots of flexibility really is just poorly engineered and does not work. I don't know. There's no way anybody will ever sell me one of these. The good news is, the thing cuts like amazingly well. Yeah. It's a near push cutter. It probably will push cut if I took the time to do it, but it's a laser. Beautiful blade, beautiful handle, horrible mechanics. That is my update of the Benchmade 761. And guys, trust me, I love Benchmade. I wanted to be able to report to you that initial quality problems with this knife have been corrected, and frankly, I don't care how well you do it, you can't make a bad design work. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And remember, the Word is sharp.